Hi Tubies, here's
Hey
Alexandra,
Tubies,
and
this is
welcome
Brent
to
from
another
Ubertown
painting
Hobbies.
tutorial.
I've been
Well,
working on these
the
Necrons
Indomitus
too.
boxes out
Between
there, and
myself and
with it,
Alexandra,
new
I think we're coming
Necrons,
up with
and
a
it
lot
is
of
time
great
for
ideas
me
for paint
to do a
schemes.
proper Necron tutorial.
Alright,
Well, the
back
last
to
one I
it.
did several years ago was a little bit lackluster. It was a little bit just silver and dry brushing, and that's it. Well, today we will tackle this dude here. This is a standard Necron warrior from the Indomitus box, as you can see. I have built him up, and if you're interested in how to create those bases, I have made a video recently with making Fimo bases with the texture rollers from Green Stuff World, but as you can see, with Green Stuff it works also just as fine. So here's already built up, and I will well, in this tutorial I will show you a gold and blue tutorial for him with blue energy rods here, blue energy X bit on his weapon, and overall a golden color scheme. And for this purpose we will prime him now in Retributor Armor, the spray paint from GW. So I'll be back when this is done. Okie dokie, there I'm back, and as you can see he is sprayed and he's primed. Some would say he's even spray primed, and now he's dry and ready to go. Well, the first thing we are going to do is apply some shadows to this miniature. So there we have some options. We could use Agrax Earthshade, or we could use Seraphim Sepia, or we could use Raglan Flashshade, but you know what? I use all of them. I use a mixture of all three of those washes, and this is my dark brown mix. I have also a little bit of Nuln Oil in there to darken the tone even further. So, with this mixture we will now tackle the Necron Warrior. So just grab your wash and a bigger brush, and we will basically cover all the recesses with this dark brown. So this is quite easy to achieve and won't take very long. As you can see, there are some areas right in the recesses where I didn't hit it with the primer properly, but well, with the shade it will be covered really nice. So go over the weapon, but we will leave the rod itself because that will get a totally different treatment. Also the weapon will be different, so we leave that out as well. So yeah, I will also cover the base real quick, because we want to have that in the end to be real rusty, and well, this wash gives it a nice first base coat of a color to work with. So dum-de-dum-de-dum, and as you can see, everything is now given a proper wash. Give it a nice 360 degree turnaround and look if you have missed any spots. And I guess we're okay here. Yeah, so this needs to dry now. Normally you would do batch painting of those, maybe 10 Necron Warriors at a time, and when you're finished with Necron Warrior number 10, normally number 1 is already dry and ready to go to the next stage. So yeah, I'll let that dry and be right back for you. Alright, listen up. Here we have now the dried stage of the golden and washed Necron, and now we will start to pick out some of the details. And don't make it so boring that it's only gold. We will pick out some of the joints and stuff with silver. So I'm using here black metal from Scale Color, but every dark metal color that you have laying around should do the trick. So just do some of the metal on your palette. Get a nice pointy brush, and then we will pick out all the joints here. This knee joint, for example. There we go. Just like that, you see. And then maybe here the spine. Just give it a rough painting over. There we go. So, and here, this bit. Well, you get the point. I will finish that up and be right back for you. So, there we are back, and as you can see, here are all the parts that I've painted metal. His Ankh on this chest, then a few parts here on his weapon, all the joints, the little tubes here at his neck, his spine, yeah, and also the weapon handles. So the next step is we will start to highlight all the gold parts on him, and for that we proceed like highlighting every other color that you can think of. You just start with a base color here, Retributor Armor, and then you proceedingly get brighter variations of the color. So for example, I have here Scale Color Elven Gold, and then Citrine Alchemy. Those are brighter gold colors, and well, with that we will proceedingly start highlighting this miniature. So we will start with a Retributor Armor on our palette. So, and we will now start repainting the gold, and we leave the brown recesses obviously behind. It's quite an easy process. You just simply overpaint very loosely on the gold. Metal paints have the tendency that you don't really see the highlights very well, so you don't have to be that accurate with the highlights than with other colors where you see highlight steps very, very prominently. So for example, this gold will, well, basically forgive very, very loose paint strokes. It's because of that painting miniatures in a metal color, for example Space Marines that are almost entirely metal painted, to be a very easy beginner paint scheme. That's why, for example, the Custodes are a very easy beginner army, or Stormcast Eternals, for example. Yeah, as you can see, I simply paint out the big panels here, leave a little bit of the old color behind here at the edges, and basically loosely go over the metal parts. Yeah, I will finish that quickly up and be right back. Okie dokie, this is how he looks right now. And before we move on with the next painting step, we will quickly have a look how Brent from Goobertown Hobbies is doing. Well, let's see.
Hey Tubies, this is Brent from Goobertown Hobbies. I've been working on these Necrons too. Between myself and Alexandra, I think we're coming up with a lot of great ideas for paint schemes. Alright, back to it.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Those are some amazing paint jobs, and well, we have to tighten up the screw here a little bit and well, show them how it's done. Yeah? Let's move on. So, next highlight step is Elven Gold. Okay, here we go. Some on the palette. And then we will start picking out the top parts of the miniature. There was a sticky hair on the brush that we need to have removed. So gold looks best if we have several different gold tones overlapping and well having next to each other, so that the gold overall looks varied to the human eye. From far away it will look overall gold, but if you go closer you see the different shades and tones in the gold, and this will make the metal look more lively than without those. So, just picking out some higher spots here. A little bit there, a little bit there, and we're almost done at this stage. Also, when you're painting the metal previously, you obviously will make some paint mistakes and touch some of the gold parts here and there, and this is also a good stage to tighten up those paint mistakes and, well, correct them. And now, last but not least, we'll go with a super high, bright gold. And with that, we'll make some real high spots, like glancing spots on the gold. Really reflecting. Here, for example, and here along the edge. Just like that. Here, there, and there. And then, with not a lot of effort, we have created a very nice, convincing gold color scheme that is rich and lively. Here along the edges of his ribs, a little bit, and his jaw, nose, and here this two little skull protrusions. Yeah. A little bit on this side. Don't neglect this, because sometimes you look at your Necron from different angles. Here. There we go. Some highlights on the back part. Some here. Some there. And done. Yeah, that's the gold armor. And in the next step, we will have a look at the rod. Be right back. Okay, in the next step we will tackle the rod here, and what happened here to me is, as you can see, there's a tiny little thingamajig that happened after the washing stage, and what we are doing here is just take a knife and remove that real quick. Ta-da! And it's gone. We want to have this rod glowing in the recesses here, and the rod itself, I want to have it in black. So, in order to do this, we need, first of all, white. So, let's get firstly rid of our gold colors here. So, we have more room to maneuver, and we take simple white. And give it a good shake. Some on the palette. There we go. And what we are basically doing here is simply quickly painting the recesses in white. Why white, you ask? Well, we want to have it glowing blue, and in order to do that and make it quite easy, we will use contrast paint, and contrast paints, as you know, work best on a white base coat. And so that's what we're doing. Don't worry if you hit the sides here a little bit with the white as well. That doesn't really matter in the end, because we will paint around it then after that in black. Yeah. Make sure that definitely in the recesses is the white. Also here on the little bumps that are on the rod. So, you might ask why I'm using blue instead of the green right now. Well, there's a new contrast paint on the market coming out Saturday, well, this Saturday, when the Indomitus box is released. But at the time of the recording, I wasn't able to get a hand on this. Well, on eBay I got me the Necrons previously, but the color is not out yet, so I was not prepared for that. But with blue it works as well. So if you want them to be green, just use the new, I think it's Necrotech Glow or something like that called, or Cryptech Glow. Use that instead. So we have used that. Also here, this plasma coils, I would say, I will also do in this glowing bit. So just simply prime that stuff in white. And as you can see, this will also totally work for your Imperial Guard or Space Marine plasma weapons. So if you have some Primaris Space Marines with this plasma coil weapons, well, go for this technique. It's quite easy. It's super easy, barely an inconvenience. Yeah. Okay, this needs to be totally dry before we go to the next step. We don't want the contrast paint to flocken out the not really cured white. So make sure that it's properly dry by using a hairdryer, or let it dry for, I would say, at least half an hour before you continue. Well, like I said before, you could work on different miniatures in the time of curing, or, well, paint something different on the miniature. Like, for example, I will quickly prime the base in Rhinox hide. Why not? While this is drying. So, there goes one of my brushes, but that's okay. My floor has caught it. So I want, as a stark contrast to this gold and shiny Necron, to have the floor a totally industrial rusty look. And so we will make it rusty. So, and after that, I will cut and with the power of video editing. I'll be back to you in just 1 second. So, there we have it. It's now fully dry. And now is the time. We use contrast paint Talosar Blue. But you could, like I said, also use the new green color, or maybe Blood Angels Red, or Yanton Yellow, or Gryphon Orange, or whatever color you prefer for your Necron rods to be. So, we will use the blue, and we'll start here with the plasma coils. And ta-da! They are nice and shiny. So, same goes for this stuff here. Just go through it. Same on the other side. Make sure you hit all 4 angles, and we are good. So, we will let that quickly dry. And then we're back for more. Be right back. Now is the time where we paint the rest of the rod in black. I use here scale color flat black. It's a very matte color. But you could also use your standard Abaddon black, whatever tickles your fancy. We're simply painting here the top parts around this glowing bits. Quite easy to achieve, and I'll be back in a second. So, as you can see, the rod is black, and what we are going to do now is paint here this glaive that is attached to the weapon, and we want that to be some kind of a blue glowing power weapon. And for that we will undercoat it with Cantabric Blue from Scale Color, but you can also use your Regal Blue or the dark blue tone that you have, or a dark green if you prefer that. So, first base coat. Just like that. Okay, let's paint this rest of the rod itself. Up until this point. Okay, there we go. Make sure you have covered all of it. Yeah. So this needs to dry quickly. Sorry for the noise. That was my hairdryer, and there's a tiny little bit that is metal. Well, sometimes if color shrinks, it will reveal spots that are not painted. Color shrinks when it's drying. very so slightly. So, and now we will start to highlight that by just adding some white to the paint. So, we will make overall a wet blending here, and I want to have it from dark to bright and then from bright to dark. And for that we will quickly block out the first coat and highlight even more. Second coat up to there and up to there. So same on the other side. Bright is here, up to there, and up to there. And then the brighter version here and here. Yep. Okay, now we need some more white on the palette for the actual wet blending. Why am I pre-painting the wet blend, you ask? Well, it's quite easy. Acrylic paints are always transparent, and if you have on the bright side the dark color, then the transition will always show through the dark color when you try to paint with a brighter color over it. So I will add a little bit of water to the color. There we go. So our first wet blend, we add here the bright color. Then on the other side, the dark color. Wipe the brush a little bit, and then we will quickly wet blend. Ta-da! A little bit more dark color. Well, you're working it around back and forth until you're satisfied with the result. So, let's do this side here. Dark color. Bright color. Some more dark, and then mixing in the middle. A little more bright color. Mixing here with a little bit of a stippling motion. Sometimes it's better left to right, sometimes it's better with a stippling, whatever you prefer. So, some final highlights at the edges, and it's done. Not absolutely perfect, but for a true miniature that would be enough. So we use some of the highlighted blue also to quickly tackle here this little balls, make them a little bit more bright, like that. There we go. Then we take the same color for the eyes. bright blue eyes. Yeah, I'll be back in a second. When we tackle the base, I will quickly wet blend the other side of the axe. Be right back. So, it's time for the rusty base, and for that we need 4 colors. Mournfang Brown, Black Metal, Vallejo Game Color Hot Orange, and Vallejo Game Color Orange Fire. And we'll start with a Mournfang Brown. Use our stippling brush here. Put some on the palette. And with that we'll basically stipple some brown tones here in between the Rhinox hide that we had previously. So just like that we have some of those splotches. Then we take our hot orange on the same brush without washing the brush, so we have a little bit muted orange, and with that we will tackle exactly those spots that we have hit with a brown. Just like that. A bit more there. Okay. I'm washing the brush properly now. Okay. Now we take the orange fire. And with that, we'll make some tiny dots here and there, especially at the other oranges. There we go. Now we have some really nice rust patches. Now, last but not least, we will go over it with black metal. So grab yourself a dry brush. Remove the excess, and with that we will very barely touching, going over here the diamond shape, because that is where the erosion will take place, where people are walking on the rusted metal and will cure it a little bit of the rust, and where some metal will shine through. But overall, the diamond plates are metal and the ground is rust. Yeah. And with that, our miniature is nearly complete. We only need to paint the edge of the base now, and for that I will use some scale color. Not scale color black, I don't want it matte. Let's take normal glossy black for that matter. So I'll go around the trim of the base. wiping it once or twice on a paper towel to remove the stuff on the bottom. Make sure that the coverage is good. And voila, the Necron is done. There we have it, folks. A completely painted Necron warrior in gold. I hope you like him. And, well, if you want to have more Necron tutorials, if you don't want to paint him in gold, well, I suggest you check out Brent from Goobertown Hobbies that we have checked out during the video. Link to his channel is down there in the video description, and there you can find more Necron tutorials. Well, until then, you're Alexandra. See you!